Slow.
What are you talking about?
Time.
What about time?
It's so slow.
Time?
And old.
What?
Time is so old.
And slow?
And slow.
What?
There they go again.
What else do they have to talk about?
How we managed to get lost and stranded here, for one thing.
For one thing, yes.
The waiting. 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 For what? The invisible winter?
Well,
If only there was some way I could... But she's...
He loves you so much, the freak. I mean, holy cow.
He's a freak. And you're
Hey,
Mr.
what are you
Perfectly
embarrassed
Normal?
for? Why don't you go over and kiss her on the lips and try to bite them off like you almost did your finger the other day? She'd find that very romantic.
Leave him alone.
Can't we do something to break up the monotony? Anything. I'm going nutsy fake and watch my toenails grow here.
Like what?
I don't know. Maybe we could... How do I know? Wonder what's worse. Being lost or being stranded?
Wouldn't mind being stranded if we knew where we are. We're used to being stranded
What do you mean?
in different towns.
That's not the same. That's normal.
Isn't it time for rehearsal?
For Pete's sake! I feel like I'm in a tunnel, going around and around in circles. I know I'm buried alive, but I keep on crawling as fast as I can, going nowhere. What happened to the sunshine I was promised on the day I was born? And you want to rehearse?
Do they know the difference, them hicks? Good or bad, it's the same routine over and over again. It's boring.
I'll tell you what's boring. Playing to empty seats, that's boring. And don't knock those hicks. They're our bread and butter.
The only time I even get a look at Butter is in the movies.
It's something to keep us occupied until help arrives.
Maybe we could... It's possible that maybe if we... Suppose we... Then again... Maybe not. I know one way to pass the time.
That's never gonna happen.
Don't start that again.
Again? Still!
Come off it!
Why will you put up for any guy who pays for it and not me?
Not even if you paid me triple.
You don't have to love me. You don't even have to like me.
I wouldn't let you touch me if you was some kind of a whatchamacallit.
It's just... Damn it, it's... Listen, it's the principle of things.
May I suggest a bit of composure? We're in a difficult situation, and the only way we'll get out of it is if we somehow continue to act like civilized human beings.
Continue? How can we keep on doing something we never have? You call that civilized? Wandering around the sticks with me, the bait to a bunch of rubes while you pick their pockets?
Sit down.
No, I don't want to sit down.
Both of you now!
Sitting.
Thank you. Now, calmly, quietly, rationally. Let's approach this with a somewhat philosophical measure of rationality.
Philosophical or rational? It can't be both. Rational is evaluating the evidence and arriving at what appears to be the most logical conclusion. Whereas the art of philosophy is merely the art of taking the obvious and making it incomprehensible. All cows are gray, in the dark. Hegel must have had a chuckle over that one.
Here we go.
Who's talking about philosophy?
I'm trying to lighten the mood.
Everybody, places, please.
Ah! Ah! What the hell was that?
It's all right, relax. It's nothing, a dog or something.
When the sound of a dog howling you hear, your time of death is very near.
Damn, he's starting with the superstitions again.
Dog howling means death. Wolf howling means death by eating you alive. Eagle howling
Eagles don't
means...
howl.
Ah! My shivering. Ah! They say when you shiver, somebody's casting a shadow in your grave.
What does tripping on your dick mean?
Hey, it's no joke. I saw you when you heard it. You were plenty scared.
I ain't scared. I'm just kind of, well, I mean, what I mean is, look, it's been so kind of whatchamacallit quiet or something since we
It
got
was an
here.
animal of some kind. I don't think it's a dog. And it would be prudent to take whatever precautions necessary.
Like what?
First of all, to identify the animal. What do you think?
Since we suddenly found ourselves in 1 second, for no apparent reason, transported from a bumpy country road in the mountains of North Carolina to this, I don't know what to call it. It's not unreasonable to assume it might be some otherworldly creature unknown to us. Didn't sound like anything I've heard before.
Nor I.
It's a sign.
Everything's a sign to you.
He may be right.
If he's right about something, that really scares me.
A sign? Are you serious?
I'm just saying we can't rule anything out. I am not by nature superstitious or religious, so I think it's highly unlikely it's some kind of mystical warning. So let's start by trying to determine what kind of physical danger we might have to cope with.
Let's start by saying we have no idea about anything that has happened or could happen. This is obviously some kind of group dream, if such a thing exists. Or maybe it's some kind of mass hysteria caused by something we have no idea of.
We're being punished because we broke the rules.
What rules? Which ones? We've been breaking all the rules all of our lives. All of us. And who's ever being punished in the first place? Maybe we all died and went to heaven.
This is your idea of heaven?
Well, what's yours? That great big whorehouse in the sky? We just got here. We might all turn out peaches and cream.
Exactly. Places, please. Thank you. For strolling.
Strolling down the avenue, wandering through the world with you. In storms or sunny weather, putting on a show together. If the skies are looking gray, if it seems we've gone astray, let the markets fall, collectors call, damn them all. We'll be strolling down the avenue.
Aha, there you are. Get ready to die. I'm gonna shoot you.
Shoot me? What for?
I always said if I saw a man who looked like me, I'd shoot him.
I look like you?
Exactly.
Shoot me. Let the markets fall, collectors call, damn them all. We'll be strolling down the avenue.
Ah!
Blow your lungs out, Mr. Death! No matter how strong you blow, the moon doesn't wobble. No matter how hard it snows, it can't cover my shadow. Let people walk on my shadow, kick it. Let dogs dig holes in it. I feel nothing. We're not carrying yet.
You're not afraid?
Of course I'm afraid.
What now?
In that small sliver of time, between two heartbeats, that's when good fortune silently sneaks in from other regions for no discernible reason, and all is known.
Thanks for nothing. What does that mean?
Every question has an answer. When the time is right, we'll explore the island.
How do you know it's an island?
Look around you, Fatso. Water all around us. What do you call that, a bathtub?
We shouldn't have broke the rules.
What we need now is patience. It's only a matter of time.
What are you thinking?
The flea has a navel. I was a little girl, about 5 or 6 years old maybe. Every time I got scared, my grandma used to hold me on her lap, hug me real close, and hum me a little song, rub my back, and tell me, "You just wait, little honey. One of these days, when you're feeling blue, you're gonna look up, and there's gonna be a great big sign right up there in the 6 o'clock sky, and you'll know everything's gonna be hunky-dory." I thought she meant a sign like Coca-Cola or something, but later I knew she meant a sign, you know, in the sky, in the 6 o'clock sky for some reason. So far in my life, it's always been 6:30. For some reason, I don't know why. I keep on burning all my bridges before I can cross them.
Don't cry. Please, don't cry.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Am I? Sorry.
And stop being sorry. You're always being sorry and crying. Stop crying for Pete's sake at everything I say. Think I don't know you're in love with me? Get over it. Say I have sex with you. Why not? Which is what I call love. Making love. You're not able to feel what I call love. And I can't feel what you call love. In his dreams, the fly catches the spider. You know what I mean? Applesauce don't turn into diamonds, so get over it. But don't get me wrong. I like you. You're nice. More than I can say about anything else that's going on right now in this place. We're all just 2 slices of bologna away from the bread line, and I don't know what happened. The radio don't tell you nothing. Wall Street, bankers. One day we're sitting pretty, not an easy street, but not bad. People are working. Got enough money to go to the movies once a week. When all of a sudden, holy mackerel, the roof caves in. How come? The bankers? Wall Street? Seriously, I don't know. What's a Wall Street anyway? Is it a wall or is it a street? A wall, I think. Keep us little guys away from them big shots. Ain't they swell? Oh, I'm telling you. Brother, can you spare a dime? Now, that is my theme song. My lullaby nowadays, which don't put me to sleep, but keeps me up all night. And if you ask me, what were we talking about?
Love.
Don't make me laugh. Love is only in the picture shows. You remember when we used to go sometimes? Jean Harlow, she's my favorite. And Carol Lombard. They remind me a lot of me. Not what you're looking at now, but then everything was firm. Now flapjacks. Time marches on.
You know what I'd like to buy you? The whole Atlantic Ocean.
Where would I put it?
Listen,
In the sink with the goldfish?
I just...
Don't let it bother you. You're not like everybody else. Nobody is. What do you want? People all the same like animal crackers.
What do you think it means?
Our being here?
It's my fault.
It's nobody's fault.
everything's somebody's fault.
In a sense, perhaps.
Do you think we're gonna die?
Eventually, but there's no reason to assume.
I mean, from the south, from the devil's mouth.
Puzzling, to be sure, our predicament. But trust me, in time, when the time is right, the answer to our odd little adventure will become clear and we'll have a good laugh about it.
I'm so glad you. I never thanked you before or mentioned it for when you picked me up out of the gutter all them years ago when I was. Okay, let's face it, facts are facts. I was a sloppy drunk and a crook and. Okay, I killed a few people. I didn't mean to. I get a bad temper.
No thanks necessary.
People get. When do you think you're gonna die? All the things you wish for, you. I don't know where my daughter is. How can a person live with that? I mean, I was a sloppy drunk, sure, but who goes out for a pack of Luckies and never comes back?
There are very few saints among us.
I'm getting back into shape, I promise you. Not like I was, but not like a joke like I am now.
You are by no means a joke. Quite the contrary. When our paths crossed, you had a certain skill, a legitimate skill, lifting heavy objects, challenging any member of the audience to a fight. But in my opinion, what you are today far surpasses that achievement. You are a featured performer in what may appear to be a somewhat motley group of players, but in our somewhat limited way, we bring laughter to a group of poor but most deserving people who otherwise would have no access to live theater.
Let's face it, I'm a jinx. Everybody says it, my wife, my kid. Now I brought bad luck on all of you, on all of us. It's my fault we're here, we're all gonna die. Bring bad luck with me. Wherever I go.
Do you mind?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Don't you think we should make some effort to, I'm not sure what, but we can't just stay here frozen in the same place we found ourselves.
Some effort to do what?
Explore the island, maybe, as you suggested.
We're safe here at the moment, at least. Who knows what's out there?
For one thing, we don't have enough food and water to last forever. If we're going to survive, we've got to take some risks.
What do we tell them? He's a snail's breath away from panic as it is.
You'll think of something.
Everybody, the time has come to find the tree.
What tree?
Follow me.
What tree?
The legendary fruit-bearing tree of Dices. Shoes on.
The legendary fruit-bearing tree of Dices.
A bit much.
Apparently not. They bought it.
Shake a leg.
Huh.
What's going on here?
How do we wind up back where we started from? Are we gonna be here forever? Forever ends, I guess. When you die.
How do you know? Maybe it just changes color.
You're giving me a headache, you know that?
Will it ever get dark, do you think? Or rain?
Beautiful. So enchantingly beautiful.
Extraordinary. First the creature howling, then the wind. Now what? Mermaids singing.
That would be preposterous.
The preposterous has now become our norm.
If there's a link somehow connecting all three.
Remember that mermaid we saw at the freak show in Coney Island?
First of all, there's no such thing as mermaids, especially that one. Her name was Sadie or Eloise or something. She was the owner's wife or girlfriend. And all it was, some mermaid. It was her with her bare tits and some phony green paper or something supposed to be her tail. But nobody ever paid attention to it. All they were there for was the tits.
Since we seem to have been transported to some kind of mythical reality, the mermaid idea might be the connecting clue. Could we all, for some unknown reason, have become mythical creatures ourselves on what it is becoming more and more clear is some form of mythical island?
You maybe, not me. I'm still me.
It just occurred to me. Remember that strange wall we came to in the middle of nowhere? Kept nothing in and nothing out, just a seemingly pointless wall. Maybe if we had turned left at that wall instead of right, we wouldn't have wound up where we started.
It's worth a try. Let's go.
Not me. I can't stand one more disappointment.
Oh, sure you can. We thrive on it.
Somebody please explain to me. Somebody please explain to me why we keep following the blind man. Who's the blind one here, huh? Him or us?
Damn you, Christy. Diabolic! Hold it! Before you beat the hell out of me or whatever you're going to do, where's the socket I can plug in my charger?
Charger?
I'll call her right now in front of you and tell her she wins. She can have a house in Southampton, although she knows how much I love that house, and the apartment in the city, and, well, damn it, I never thought I'd give in on that one. Even a 50,000 a month alimony for the rest of her life. My God. To work all this out, she deserves it. These posters, your outfits, she's got flair. That's my downfall, time after time. Why do I marry them? Where the hell are we? The Caribbean? I have a house in St. Bart's. I'll call the housekeeper and have her send a boat to pick me up.
It appears you're under some misapprehension. An audience.
How did she do it? To somehow have me drugged on Madison Avenue in the middle of the afternoon? Like that Russian maybe, with the tip of an umbrella and a car waiting by to pick me up and fly me here. I love it.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Raven, and as you can see from the posters, these are members of my company.
Oh yeah.
Places!
He'll never be a millionaire. He can't afford a frigid air. But I don't care as long as we're together. All we need is what we've got, which I'll admit it ain't a lot. For love like ours will be around forever.
Whoa, it's beans and mash, 'cause we ain't got no cash. Oh no, we're feeling low, and we ain't got no dough. If only we were sitting in a Morris chair with brand new shoes and underwear, chocolate cakes and T-bone steaks, but we don't get those lucky breaks. Whoa, welcome to the Magic Circus Show.
Step right up and cop a feel. I got muscles made of steel. I'm a strong man.
Oh yeah.
I'm the pin cushion, I feel no pain. Puncture me, I won't complain. I'm the pin cushion.
Aphrodite is my name. Beauty is my claim to fame.
Feast your eyes on this goddess galore.
And give us a nickel if you want to see more. Cause whoa, it's beans and ash. Cause we ain't got no cash. Oh no, we're feeling low. And we ain't got no dough. If only we were sitting in a Morris chair with brand new shoes and underwear, we'd be sipping Rhine wine instead of swilling moonshine. Whoa, welcome to the Magic Circus Show. Whoa, welcome to the Magic Circus Show.
Are you sure you won't join us? All we can offer, I'm afraid, are a few crackers and a bit of cheap bologna and dog soup, but you're more than welcome to share it with us.
Dog soup.
Water, that's what we call water. Don't laugh. If this depression continues much longer, we'll have to call it people soup.
Why is he eating like that? So funny, the skinny guy.
He has to be extremely careful when he eats, not to bite his tongue off. He can't feel any pain. He could step on a piece of glass and cut his whole foot off and wouldn't feel a thing. I picked him up at a freak show.
Wait a minute. He's no freak. My first or second wife, I think it was the second, is a doctor specializing in rare congenital disorders. She was telling me about one of her cases. He's got SIPA. It's a rare congenital disorder.
To you, he's got SIPA. To us, he's a freak, which is not a pejorative term, but a gift from nature that allows a man to earn an honest living.
I can hear you now. I'm sitting right here. My hearing is quite adequate. Unlike Dr. Raven's, whose hearing is astonishing, there are times I'm even quite certain he can hear what we're thinking.
It's infuriating, the curse of being without sight. Not for one instant can I be on anything less than high alert. The faintest shift in the air around me, a smell that for the fraction of an instant I can't identify. Terrifying, although I dare not admit that to myself, ever. To people who can see, the unknown may be briefly unnerving, but to me every second is unknown, and if I'm wrong about what I perceive to be happening, every second could be my last second on this earth. Why am I telling you all this?
Very good question.
What are your afflictions, sir, if you don't mind my asking? Since for some reason you find yourself with us.
Afflictions? I never thought about it.
You dress swell, like a movie star. I got a crush on Clark Gable. He's still the one whose shoes I want under my bed.
1933? Impossible. It makes no sense.
1933 makes no sense.
It's 2019.
What is?
This year. How can you be 1933 when I'm in 2019?
Once again, we surrender to the tapeworm of time.
Numbers go that high? Years, I mean.
Fascinating. Another clue to add to the puzzle.
Every day I'm away from the market, I could be losing millions of dollars.
What are you, a banker?
A trader.
What do you trade?
I am CEO of one of the major hedge funds.
You sell hedges?
Stocks, Wall Street.
I thought you all jumped out the window in the crash.
Someday in 29. We've learned a lot since then.
So what are you doing here? You learned so much.
I wish the hell I knew.
Mermaids.
Mermaids?
We heard them singing.
Oh, please.
One of us is not facing reality now, and it's not me.
Let's get the hell out of here. Whatever kind of scam this is, name your price. All cash. No questions asked, okay? Your terms and conditions. Anything you say.
Settle down, sir. Maybe this is where eternity ends. It is clear we have come into a very new reality in a very old time. And everything we learned or failed to learn, won or lost, dreamed of or feared is of no use to us now. None of us, I repeat, none of us, including me, has any answer to anything.
That's your conclusion, not mine.
What's yours?
I don't know yet. But I didn't get where I am by giving up.
Where you are, sir, is right here now with the rest of us. Where you may have been or thought you were is of no consequence now to you or any of us. No use sending valentines to ghosts.
Time plus pi equals the square root of yesterday. Mind if I try to feel a little cheerful? Try it. What does it cost you? Yesterday we had nothing to look forward to. Today, nothing sounds like strawberry shortcake.
What's so funny?
Somebody wrote, one of the cranes, Hart or Stephen, I don't remember which. What are you doing? I'm eating my heart. Why are you eating your heart? Because it's bitter. And because it's my heart.
That is so beautiful. Just make it up.
He just told you somebody wrote it.
It was Hart Crane. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It is bitter, bitter," he answered, "but I like it. Because it is bitter, and because it is my heart."
Right.
There's not much else to do but read when nothing else is safe, thanks to Dr. Raven. He taught me how to read.
How did you two, if I'm not being too intrusive?
The least we can do is get to know each other, try to at least, since we all seem to be in the same lifeboat, if that's what it is. When I was born, my parents didn't know what to do with me, especially when my teeth grew in. So they sold me to a freak show. I was 10, I think. 10 or 11.
10.
I was 14 when Dr. Raven found me. I was on the street giving blowjobs for a quarter when he gave me a home.
You had no family?
Sure, I had a family. I wasn't hatched like a chicken. But like most people, my family had to break up when the hard times came. I've got 7 brothers. The 8 deadly Flynns were called. A couple went to an uncle, another couple went to another uncle, and so on. And I wound up with my grandma, who took real good care of me until she died. And then I don't remember. Oh yeah, the guy across the street and his wife took me in, so I ran away. When his wife wasn't home, which was always, well, I didn't know till I hit the streets I could get paid for what he made me do. What? We're getting to know each other.
No. I'm sorry if I seemed somewhat taken aback by what you're saying. What I know about the Great Depression is more historical than actual. I have no idea the kind of impact it had on real people.
Real people. Is that what we are? Which, first of all, the fact that you're from the future, or say you are, I mean, okay, I'll give you a pass on that one. Maybe the past is like old glue, nothing sticks together right.
No. This will sound completely crazy, but I'm beginning to believe that you and this place are the only real things I've ever known. I buy and sell numbers on computer screens. We call them shares in corporations. But none of us, not the buyers, not the sellers, ever see the actual shares. All we buy and sell are numbers. This is an $85,000 watch. If I didn't have this watch, nobody I know would do business with me. Next year it will be a certain $100,000 watch. If I had my shoes and suits made by the wrong shoemaker and tailor in London, or my shirts and ties made by the wrong shop in Rome, they'll laugh at me behind my back. And I'll be out of the loop and out of business. You touched me. You really touched me with your stories. For the first time since I was a child, I felt real emotions. I caught myself a minute ago almost crying. Crying. And I didn't know that about myself, how fortified I've become from real emotions. Not emotional furniture that occasionally gets moved around by people and events in what till now I called my... What's happening?
Wind. Air, fire, and water, the classical elements, of course. But did you know there's a fifth element related to death?
It had occurred to me that perhaps we have all died and this island is some kind of way station, a purgatory of sorts, if you will, until we move on to the next level.
If we're going to get crazy about all this, I think we're on an island of self-discovery, where we discover who we really are for the first time.
And you've discovered what?
I'm beginning to know who I'm not, which is a start. When I started out right after college, I was a salesman, and I was very successful. I'm outgoing, able to convincingly fake charm, exude trustworthiness, always able to get a laugh when needed to lighten the mood, as well as supply a serious moment of confidential assurance at the precise moment necessary to close the deal. Yes, successful? Very. If success is based on having a lot of money and power. But as I just realized, I've been haunted by the things I own, enjoying other people's Sundays, not my own.
Ah, yes. That divine mystery, happiness, the eternal trickster whose irresistible delusions deceive us all.
And worst of all, its evil twin, loneliness.
Who are you kidding? Loneliness. What do you know about loneliness? Oh, my heart is just breaking for you, you poor thing. Stuck with nothing but money and power. Is that all you've got to moan about? Other people's Sundays? How would you like to be haunted by all the things you don't own? I'll tell you what. I'll sell you all my Sundays, past, present, and future, for 2 bits.
I think I'm falling in love with you.
Don't start with me, mister. I look at men the way a cow looks at a butcher.
Understood.
I had 2 uncles, both named Joe. So I called Joe, one Joe with a mustache, because he had a mustache, and one Joe without, because he didn't. But the one without didn't like to be called that. Who wants to be called Joe without, he said. Call him Stash and me Joe. But I didn't want to. I'm just making conversation.
How long have you been here?
How is that possible? Now that you mention it, I have no idea how long we've been here. I can remember precisely the moment before we got here, but very strange indeed. Do you? Anybody?
Well, I just got here. I'm certain of that.
But will you still be certain when you've been here a while?
What difference does it make? It's kind of nice here. Nobody chasing you. Remember that guy in, who cares? They're all the same, them little towns in the sticks. He got so mad, he started yelling that he was going to call the sheriff until he remembered he was the sheriff.
Well, one thing is certain. Time plays a big factor in whatever this is that's happening. The fact that we, who are completely different in every way, even from different periods of time, have arrived in the same place, in the same surreal way.
Unless we're not completely different at all, but in some fundamental way, precisely the same.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed.
You guys, I'm telling you. What a load of horse shit. Is this how you get off? Showing off to each other how smart you are? Well, let me be the dummy here. You're all full of it.
You are absolutely delightful.
Another thing I don't like is people making fun of me.
If I may, sir.
Of course.
Don't mistake her for that mythical whore with the heart of gold. Hers is not even gold-plated. Her heart is the pure, unadulterated heart of a whore.
I thought you like her. I see the way you look at her.
I love her with all my heart, precisely because she is exactly who she thinks she is. She never tries to deceive anybody, especially herself.
That's a quality completely unknown to me. If there's a whore among us, it's me. I'm not even sure I have a heart, maybe a plastic one. I invest in corporations that, with scientifically perfected accuracy, sell products to the people who don't need them. In some cases, don't even want them. Sometimes these products are actually harmful to them, sometimes deadly. And the worst part is, I'm proud of how good I am at picking those corporations. I'm still so proud of how good I am. Although, I'm beginning to question the logic of wanting, no, needing to earn all that money so that I myself could buy all these useless possessions I was told I'd be a loser not to have. Not because it does what it's supposed to do better than a much less expensive one, but because it's more expensive. So, who's the real whore? Me or her? She gets paid up front for the service she provides, and when she's done, she and the customer walk goodbye, good luck, both satisfied, no harm done. But me, I'm not even a whore, but a cheap one. Cheap enough to be seduced by my own fake eyelashes.
Welcome to the least exclusive club in the world. We're all whores in our own individual way. And without whores and corruption, nothing in this world would ever get done.
I like the way you think very much. And between us, I'm certain we can find a way out of this situation.
Without question. First of all, we have to figure out where we are, which could help us understand how we got here and why. Clearly, what I said before about all of us being dead is idiotic.
Like my calling this an island of self-discovery. Funny how the first answer we automatically leap to when we suddenly find ourselves in some outlandish situation is always from some ridiculous movie or novel.
Exactly. The reality is, one, we are all obviously alive. And two, we are on a very real island in the middle of a very real sea, surrounded by a number of other islands. The question is, how do we contact the people on one of the other islands, or, without panic, resign ourselves to patiently wait till they find us?
I'm not a patient man. What we gotta do is build a boat and save ourselves. It makes no sense to just wait here hoping somebody will save us.
Unless you know how to build a boat out of rocks, I doubt if that's the answer.
Have you explored the entire island?
We've tried.
And?
We get as far as the wall and suddenly find ourselves right back here where we started from.
Wait. There's a wall.
In the middle of nowhere.
And you can't climb over it.
There's no need, it's just part of the wall.
I don't understand.
It looks like we could simply walk around either end of it, but for some reason instead we suddenly wind up right back where we started.
Have you tried splitting up? Each go off in a separate direction?
Huh, I'm not going out there alone.
You were saying?
I think we should split up. Each go in a different direction until one of us finds something we can make a boat out of.
You're welcome to try. In fact, we appreciate it if you do. As for us, at the moment, our best plan, in my opinion, is to wait here where we seem to be safe until circumstances point to a more certain option.
Okay, which way did you go?
Well, that way.
Okay, so I'll go that way.
I don't like that guy. I don't trust him.
On the basis of what?
My gut.
Too bad your brains ain't in your gut. You'd be a genius.
Okay. Time to rehearse.
Places, please, for meet you around the corner.
Hello, honey. Wanna have a good time?
You bet.
Meet me round the corner in a half an hour. Meet me round the corner in a half an hour.
I'm on my way.
Hello, honey. Wanna have a good time?
You bet.
Meet me round the corner in a half an hour. Meet me round the corner in a half an hour.
You bet.
Hey, what's the big idea?
What's this guy doing
What's
here?
this guy doing here?
Oh, it's Tuesday, honey. 2 for the price of 1. Meet me round the corner in a half an hour.
Meet you round the corner in a half an hour.
A tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my mom, and on the way I dropped it. I dropped it, and on the way I dropped it. A little boy, he picked it up and put it in my pocket. Now I'm happy as I can be.
So are we, so are we, so are we, so are we, so are we.
I'm so glad that boy I did see.
So are we, so are we, so are we, so are we, so are we.
Now I'm happy as I can be.
So are we, so are we, so are we, so are we, so are we.
I'm so glad that boy I did see.
So are we, so are we, so are we, so are we, so are we.
Oh, then! You're holding the so are we too long. Take 5, and then we'll look for the tree.
That dumb song. You wouldn't put it in her pocket, you would put it in his pocket.
This might come as a big surprise to you, but some people know the right thing to do and always do it.
Everybody knows that. There's one bought every minute.
Wonder how he made out. He didn't wind up back here like we did.
Maybe he found something.
Yeah, well, if he did, he took it with him. I hope the son of a bitch gets eaten alive.
What's wrong with you?
The way he looks. He's setting a trap for us, I'll bet you anything.
I kind of liked him.
It's possible he found a way to save us all.
So where is he then? If he did, he took it with him and to hell with us.
Maybe he's in trouble and needs help.
Well, let's give him a few more minutes, then go look for him.
In that direction, we don't know what's out there.
We're not the kind of people who wouldn't respond to even a complete stranger who needs our help.
Since when did we become like the Salvation Army?
Where would we be, any of us, if a complete stranger hadn't gone out of his way to help us when we needed it?
Good fortune, which we now find ourselves at the mercy of, has to be earned. I recall reading somewhere, there are cracks and little breaks in the surface of a loaf which, though never intended by the baker, are the answer to everything. In short, when called upon, respond.
That is what I love. When you say them kind of things that don't make no kind of sense. But somehow, I know what they mean. Act like a louse and woods will get you. Bad luck. Am I right?
Precisely.
See? I ain't as dumb as I look.
Oh, you are the wisest among us, my dear. I truly mean it.
Oh, hello!
Ah,
Look what I found on the
how
beach.
good to see
It's,
you. We were just about to go looking for you.
There's a beach?
Of course there's a beach. We're on an island. And if you look over there, there's another island. See? Oh, it's wonderful down there on that part of our island. Trees and flowers everywhere. Like St. Bart's must have been before it got developed. Buy this whole island for nothing, which is what I'm going to do, and build a house on it. No, develop it as a resort with a 5-star hotel, private cottages. It's not every day you come across an opportunity like this.
Amazing. I admire your unflagging optimism.
But how do you plan to communicate with your bank? May I remind you of the situation we're in?
When we get out of this situation, of course.
You figured out a way?
Not yet, but we will. What's the matter with you people? You look at me like I'm crazy. There's a way out of every difficult situation. I know it sounds like a lunatic idea, but the way I see it, that island is where we have to go. I don't know why I believe that, I'm just a level-headed businessman, but I believe in my hunches, and I bet the farm on that one. Call it paradise, the isle of wishful thinking, that place where all your dreams come true.
If you're talking about some kind of heaven, count me out. Even if I believed in God, I wouldn't like him. What kind of way is that to run a world? Would it kill him to make things nice for people instead of miserable?
They tell you to pray, which I did all the time as a kid, but I never got nothing what I prayed for.
Maybe the trouble is in our misapprehension. We're taught to believe that God is the creator of everything, every color in the rainbow, but a rainbow is only a beautiful illusion. Don't try to put an illusion in your pocket.
Okay, let me put it this way. Say we're all here for a reason, and say that reason is a good thing. Okay, that island may not be heaven, whatever you want to call it, the Great Rock Candy Mountain. But we're not there yet. It's a test. We have to prove we're worth it by using all our imagination and intelligence to get from here to there.
See? Told you he was special.
Oh yeah, where was I when you told us? All of a sudden she told us, huh?
Okay, fine. I'm telling you now.
Thank you.
Hey, if she kisses you, be sure and count your teeth after.
Very small price to pay, I can assure you.
See how a gentleman acts? The trouble with most people, especially you, everybody's always wishing a broken leg on you.
Hey, you know, you don't have to sweet talk it. She's a sure thing.
Go ahead, ruin things for me.
There's no chance of that happening.
What are you saying? What I think you're saying?
I've said this so many times before, so many times, automatically. Whenever I've been with a woman who interests me, and even though I thought I meant it at the time, I knew in my heart I was lying. Because by nature I'm a salesman, and I know how to get what I want. But this time, no, I'm not going there.
Go there, for Pete's sake! Don't stop now.
You are in every way an extraordinary woman.
Ah, love, that old magician.
Can you give us a minute, please? We're having a private conversation.
Come, I need you to help me fix the.
You people crazy?
Pretend to be a considerate human being for once, can you?
First I have to pretend that she's a virgin.
What's going on here? I feel like, I don't know what I feel like.
Let's not make too much of this. We're fond of each other, clearly, but
Fond? What does that mean, fond?
fond is somewhere between like and like a lot.
How far away is that from love?
I'm the last person in this world to talk about love. I'm in love with the idea of love, but I never expect to find it. If you think it exists, the romantic Hollywood version. Make believe. No. Let me put that to maybe I'm the dumbest sucker in the world when it comes to women. I always go for the beautiful ones in the movies, who you know from the beginning of the picture is the one who is going to break the guy's heart. I'm dreaming about love, they're dreaming about alimony.
But you marry them?
3 of them so far. And I'm only 41.
Part of me says, what a sap. But the other part of me thinks it's kind of sweet. If you didn't have all that money, probably, you might have a chance. But most women can't resist picking that delicious fruit from the billionaire tree. We learned that in the womb.
Would you?
You bet your ass! Who wouldn't? You said it yourself how proud you are grabbing as much money as you can. It's not only human nature. It's what it's all about in this world. Am I right?
I'm not sure anymore.
Would you mind going to the rock over there with me and having a conversation? Not about anything special, just regular people having a conversation.
I'd like that very, very much.
I can't remember the last time. Maybe never. I had a conversation that wasn't about me trying to talk my way out of something, or usually about some guy trying to get in my snatch. What is a conversation? conversation anyhow? How do you start?
A real conversation is when, in our case, two people talk about something both of us are really interested in. Not to impress each other or what we think the other person wants to talk about, but in my case, what you want to talk about. Something you've always wanted to discuss, but didn't because you were afraid they would think it's too weird.
Sound.
Sound.
That's what I think about a lot sometimes. Sound. Like, I'm in one room and you're in the next, and I holler and you can hear me. How does the sound get in there? Through the wall? Does it creep in through the cracks? Or is it so small only a little germ can see it? You know what I mean? I really wonder about that sometimes. And where does the sound go once you hear it? Like, say I give a holler. Hello! Where does it go? That, hello. Does it disappear? It don't disappear. Nothing disappears. It's like rain. It don't disappear. I don't know how it works, but the same rain gets back up into the clouds and becomes rain again, and you know what I mean? Suppose all the sound there ever was is still all around us. The air or something. And say in a million years they invent a machine like the radio or something, and you can turn it on and find the right station. And hear George Washington yelling at his wife that the soup is terrible. Wouldn't that be something?
You astonish me.
I knew I should have kept my big mouth shut. What do you think? I'm stupid or crazy?
Not at all. You just proved your point. Just by looking at you, I never could have seen that part of you.
What part? The crazy part or stupid part?
The wonderful part. Your mind. What's in it?
That's what I like about you. Most people, you tell them hello and they're stuck for an answer. I like the way you laugh.
I like the way you make me laugh.
Why can't most people hold a conversation? Ever. What for, they tell you? To talk about things, I tell them. What's there to talk about, they say. How you feel about things, getting to know each other. If you ask me, sometimes I think we'd all be better off if we'd never been born. But who has that kind of luck? Not one in a million.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
What can I say?
Whatever the hell happened to get me here, if for no other reason than meeting you, I'm glad it happened to me.
Please, if you're walking on eggs here, talking to me all nice like that. When you break a bubble, that's easy to do, but how can you put a bubble back together again once you broke it?
It would cause me a great pain to break your will. What bothers you most?
About people, life.
Anything.
One thing maybe? Men and sex. What is it about sex that makes men do such crazy things to get some?
It feels good.
It feels good. That's it. They break up their homes, rape women, spend the rest of their lives in jail, all because it feels good. Oh, and I thought I was crazy.
I didn't say it wasn't crazy.
To me, from my point of view. The whole thing takes a minute. Most of them feel terrible about it after.
What is it?
All I want is the kind of guy who blesses me when I sneeze.
You are, without question, the most special woman I've ever known in my life.
Really?
Look at the big shot. Thinks he's the cat's meow. Wait till she takes him for all he's got, then dumps him like a bucket of dog soup like she always does. They all do. Who needs a woman? Not me, my friend.
I used to listen to songs on the radio when I had a radio. I get the blues when it rains. Oh. Why do they call it blues when you're sad? Blue ain't a sad color. Black is a sad color. you about this girl I knew who could hear colors? Black and green made her crazy. It hurt so much. But yellow made her giggle. She didn't know why. Wow, what's the matter with me talking so much? It's your turn.
Black and blue, violets too. Warm and mellow, sunshine yellow. You have so many colors, they all astound me. Emerald green, tangerine, hazel eyes that tantalize. Yes, you have so many colors. All I see is you. Give me the blues every day, and let those blues get away. Come out midnight, aquamarine, and all the shades that fall in between. Your tropic glow, pistachio, crimson healing, turquoise feeling. You have so many colors, won't you let them shine on me? The inside of your mind is my favorite place to be.
Like the crazy house at the fair.
Your mind is the least crazy place I've ever been to.
I never let nobody in before. But you can come in anytime you want to. And don't bother to knock.
I'd like to make a home in your mind.
Pull up a chair.
I want the blues every day. Can't let those blues get away. Your candy stripes, your candlelight, your endless trails of purple nights and indigos, twinkle toes, electric skies with dragonflies. Yes, you have so many colors. They hypnotize, beguile my eyes, and all I see is you.
I knew it!
Windows!
The sign! We're saved!
Oh, God! How do we know it's a good sign? It's probably a bad sign.
Why windows, I wonder, instead of open doors, for example?
Maybe windows are the eyes to the soul instead of the other way around.
I read somewhere that windows should be worshipped because through windows we see what is beyond ourselves. Both the mundane and the extraordinary are visible, depending on which window we chose to look through.
Suppose I'm in a room with only one window, or no windows.
Move!
The word tribe has lost all its meanings now that the world has so many of them, whether we call them religions or nations. But I finally found the one I belong to, and I'd be honored if you'd accept me as a member of your tribe of traveling players. I despise the one I thought I belonged to.
Given in, have you, to the tyranny of low expectations?
No strings attached.
But we live in a wilderness of strings.
Dub me the knight of perpetual audience. No company of players can exist without an audience, and that's what I'd like to become. A member of your audience.
I thee so dub.
Hey. What games are you trying to pull here? We're all gonna die here right now, and we know it.
Why this universal fear of death? The way I see it, the lights go out, and it's all over. Everything. And there we are, surrounded by pure nothingness. And what could be more peaceful than nothingness? All our problems, big and small, are gone. To hell with being hungry, or having one person in the world of the opposite sex who makes your soul shrivel up and die merely with a glance.
Wouldn't it be funny if death is nothing but a rash? That no matter how much you scratch, it never stops itching?
Ah, yes, death. Sweet death. At which time the masquerade may be over, but alas, the mystery remains. That tender mystery we call life, and how delicious it is, with all its bitterness.
Until now, we seem to be on a perilous journey from here to here. But now, that light show up in the sky, what does it mean?
It's very clear to me. We have to fix this boat and get to that island over there. There are plenty of trees down there to find wood.
And the tools? The axe, the saw, the hammer, the nails.
Yeah, I don't get the connection between the sign and that island.
It was pointing directly at it.
The sign? It wasn't pointing at anything.
Of course it was. Who else saw it but us? Nobody?
It could have been.
So, the problem is, if we can't get there, we have to figure out a way to let the people on that island know we're here. We need to light a fire to attract their attention. What can we burn?
What are you doing?
We'll burn the costumes.
I'm sorry, I can't allow that.
You can buy new costumes.
I will not allow it. I forbid it.
Hey! What am I missing here? These are only cheap costumes.
I'm afraid of what might happen.
By burning the costumes?
In the instant before it occurred, I visualized precisely what happened in the sky.
What are you telling us?
It violates all my fundamental tenets of acceptable behavior to tell the truth, but under the circumstances, I have no choice. I have powers, occult powers, and it terrifies me to have them. When I was a young man, having just learned the fortune-telling con, a young woman came to see me, and I was giving her the usual spiel when I got a very clear vision in my head of a house on fire. I started shaking. I didn't know why, but I got so dizzy I had to stop the session and tell the woman to go away. The next morning I read in the paper the woman had died the night before when her house caught on fire. Why didn't I tell her? I could have saved her life. It happened again and again. Another woman came to see me and I saw a child drowning. The next day her 6-year-old daughter drowned in the local swimming hole. I could have saved that child. I tried to rationalize that what I was doing was a good thing. The child could have grown up to be a psychotic killer. The woman who burned to death. Oh, nonsense. It was driving me crazy. Finally, I had a nervous breakdown, a complete breakdown. And when I could, I started reading everything I could find about the dark powers and realized I had to find a psychic to help me, which isn't easy. There are a lot of fakes out there who claim to have the power, but finally I found one. At any rate, after a time, he told me how I could lose those powers, but it required a profound trade-off. I could lose the power of second sight, as it's called, if I was willing to give up seeing what we call the real world. That's when I became what is known as a blind seer.
Forgive me, but do you expect us to believe that?
Let me quote St. Augustine, who, when asked if he believed in God and why, said, "I am certain because it is impossible. I believe it because it is absurd."
Forgive the doggerel, but he was a saint, and you ain't.
On the contrary, I am the patron saint of all charlatans.
And so you are. Forgive my limited knowledge of categories.
Let me put it to you this way. Given the absurd situation we're in, why would I invent a ridiculous story about my blindness to prevent you from burning these worthless rags we call costumes?
But if you saw whatever it was in the sky, how did you see whatever's happened before it happened?
I have no idea, and it terrifies me. For some reason, the second sight has returned, but I'm still blind.
My God.
I have a very clear vision of our doing something, but I don't know what it means. It may give us the answer to what we're looking for, or may result in something completely different and could be to our detriment.
Let's go for it. What the hell? Why not?
I'm not sure I want to be responsible.
Here's the way I look at it. Those people on that island must have seen that thing in the sky, and they'll come get us.
You know, kill us.
Or that's also possible, or maybe neither of those.
So what do we have to do?
This will sound completely nonsensical, but here's what we have to do. Each of us names the one thing we wish we had. I write it on a piece of paper. We put your wishes in the silver box and burn it. Then I recite a powerful, arcane incantation. Yes or no?
Absolutely yes.
Count me in if he's willing.
What have we got to lose?
And you?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
We all have to do it or it won't work.
I don't want to.
Leave it to him to mess things up.
Suppose it kills us.
It won't kill you, I promise.
You're too dumb to die.
Here are your options. You can stay and die, which you will when you run out of food and water, or you can take a chance. And if it does work and we get out of this, I'll give each of you $1 million because we're all in this together and I never felt more alive.
Does he need it? Can we trust him?
Completely.
Oh, okay, I'm in.
Good. Sir, what's the one thing in life you wish for?
Yesterday, I could have told you. Today,
I'm writing. You want to follow your heart. What do you wish for?
My youth back.
That, unfortunately, is what you think. But what you really wish for is your courage. You have more of it than anyone I've ever known.
Courage.
And you, Pincushion?
Two things I never want to lose are my eyes to read with and my mind to comprehend what I'm reading.
I'm astonished to realize how little we know about ourselves. Yes, reading is important to you, but what you really wish for is your dignity, which you already have in abundance.
I'm astonished to know that I have any at all.
What about me?
What do you wish for?
Well, my strength back, of course.
You think that, but what you really wish for is happiness for your daughter.
Really?
Without your love for her and your guilt for leaving her, you wouldn't have the secret hope of seeing her again and making her proud. That's what keeps you going. That's your strength. And now me. I assume you'd all say my sight back, yes?
of course.
You'd be wrong. I could find a stick or other ways to make my way. But what I couldn't live without is my sense of denial. How else could I have kept our magic circus together? Year after year, town after town. Now we burn what we wished for. Staff, please.
Sir.
The black power of the raven flies above my head. The black power of the feather and the smoke and the dead. Ella, Kazan, Gili, Hali, Axie, Boo, Bam!
Now what?
We wait.
I'm glad it never gets dark here. I used to be scared of the dark when I was a kid.
What were you scared would happen?
Scary things.
Monsters?
I don't know, scary things.
Things or thoughts?
Who's afraid of thoughts?
Who's not afraid of them?
Like killing somebody mad at, say, right?
Is that what you're afraid of?
Oh, I'm not afraid of doing it. I like doing it. But when you do it, it gets you in trouble, so when I think about it, I don't like to think about it.
If you wouldn't get in trouble, would you have any problem doing it?
I think it's time to change the subject.
You know what I'm going to ask him.
I do, and ask you not to.
Why not? I'm the least useful person in the world. My entire life has lasted 5 minutes and added up to nothing. I'm already dead. A dead peach on a stone bridge. Like Kafka, I live only to find that deep hidden yes under the no. But it's not there. It's nowhere to be found.
Wrong. You can end the masquerade anytime you choose. But you'll deprive yourself of the mystery that remains, which, with all its bitterness, especially for you, if you really look under the no, you will find something quite delicious.
I've been sitting here wondering how and why I find myself in this bleak and mysterious place. And I'm almost convinced that this is a perfect place to die.
Everything is real here. No room for conflict delusions. Like you, Doctor, I too have been floating through life on the wings of denial. But now, at last, I feel the peaceful, if uncomfortable skin of truth. And frankly, for the first time in my life, I feel what I assume is peace. A life with no pretension of any kind. Nobody I'm compelled to impress for business or vanity reasons. And for the first time in my life, I feel what I truly feel, instead of what I think other people expect me to feel.
And feeling this makes you want to die?
Not yet. When the time comes.
For a minute, I thought I made a mistake when I wrote "Follow Your Heart."
This is the perfect time to enjoy that bottle of whiskey
Oh,
I stole
yes.
from that old son of a bitch. Remember? The one who wanted to charge us for the food the rest of you was stealing? We were saving it for a celebration, but now it's just as good. I can't understand this. Here we are, out in the open. In too much open, if you ask me. And I'm getting that old feeling like I'm suffocating. Being buried alive. My worst nightmare as far back as I can remember. Like, I'm not dead, but I'm in a coffin and being buried alive, and they close the lid, and I can hear the dirt they're throwing on top of the casket, and I can't breathe. This is nothing new. Every time I was with some mouth-breathing asshole laying on top of me. And me knowing that more of this was all I had to look forward to for the rest of my life. I held my breath. Counted numbers in my head to make the time go by faster. And I listened as they huffed and puffed their bad breath in my face until they grunted and groaned and finally finished. And walked away without a word. Like I was a piece of meat. Not a person. Not even a person.
That's over for you now. All that is over for you now.
What makes you so sure?
The only thing I'm sure about is that from now on, none of us is going back to the life we knew before this.
Remember those terrible jokes we used to have in the act? The ones that we would steal from the burlesque shows. Oh, my room is so small, they couldn't get my trunk in, so I slept in the trunk, and they put my room in the basement.
My wife is so ugly, when a crook broke into her bedroom, all he took was one look.
I enjoy walking home. I just think about the nickel I'm saving by not riding the bus, and it makes me feel good.
I'll tell you what, on special occasions, why don't you not take a taxi and save yourself $1?
Oh, remember that one time when I got lost and I called you, and I said, I'm lost, come and get me, and you said, I'll be right there. Where are you? Did we know how much fun we was having? We were so happy then.
You were, maybe, but happiness to me has always been just one of the many varieties of sadness. Which makes me laugh, the way it sounds. It's such stupid self-pity. I've always prided myself on never feeling sorry for myself, till now. Please, somebody stop me if I say things like that again.
Hey, why don't we go look for that tree again, huh?
The tree, of course. Let's look for the tree.
What kind of tree?
The legendary fruit-bearing tree of Dionysus. I'm sure you've heard of it. I've seen drawings of it, read descriptions. There are biblical references. Marco Polo, Kubla Khan, all went in search of it. You're skeptical, as is your right. But while I can't prove it exists, you can't prove it doesn't.
Well, look. Look, is that it's a boat. Is that boat coming from that island toward us?
At last! At last!
There are windows, windows in the night. And now I understand.
What are you talking about?
There are cracks up in the sky, in the hopeless and unknown. They are magical, and now I comprehend. And I claim the night, the jewels that jangle with light. Hear me now, I will claim the night.
Why do I never understand what you say?
Just before the boat arrives, snap my neck.
That I understood, but
Do me this kindness, please.
how will I get away with it?
When the others climb on the boat, one twist, 2 seconds.
I don't know.
Please.
Maybe.
Please.
I don't know.
Nay, please do this for me.
Maybe.
No one has loved me less than you, and yet I love you all the more. But here's where it must end. My statue of flesh, for I see windows, windows in the night, mermaids calling, and candles burning bright. So help me, if you will, help me climb up to the sill. And I'll claim the night, the jewels that jangle with light. Come to me, I will claim. And I claim the night, the jewels that jangle with light of heaven divine. Yes, darkness is mine, for I claim the night. I claim the night. I claim the night.
There you are. We went out to meet you as you got out of the boat, but you must have taken a different trail to get here.
At any rate, let me express our most sincere gratitude for making that long trip to save us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
You didn't come to take us to your island?
I came because I saw those lights over this island and figured we finally found where the pearly gates are.
Who's we?
My men, 30 of us in the landing craft. The Normandy invasion.
Normandy?
You read the papers, don't you?
June or July, wasn't it? 1944.
Today, June 6th. What's wrong with you?
What's he talking about?
There was a war. A terrible war. World War II.
Okay. I get it. Things are different here.
You were part of the landing in Normandy, right?
Omaha Beach. Where are we? Who are you? Am I going crazy?
When I try to explain it, unfortunately, it will sound crazy. We seem to be in a place where time goes around in circles. Squiggles may be a more accurate word. If it's any consolation, we're as confused as you are.
Are you dead too?
What makes you think you're dead?
We were in the second wave, and when we got close to the beach, I can't. First of all, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Nobody got much sleep last night. We were scared to death. And the seas were so rough we could hardly stand up. We were crammed into that boat like sardines. Bodies squeezed together so tight. And the swells were, I don't know, 6, 8 feet high. We were banging together, and some of the guys started throwing up. And the stink made a lot of the other guys throw up too. And between the stink and the noise, Nazis were shooting at us from bunkers up in the cliffs overlooking the beach. And my God, on the beach, on the beach, it was covered with dead bodies. Our men, some wounded, yelling for help. And one guy, I'll never get him out of my head. He was nothing but a stump. It's the head connected to a stump, both arms and legs cut off, blood pouring out the side as he kept yelling for help. He's nothing but a stump yelling for help. And I looked in the water. There were dead bodies floating in the water. It was a catastrophe. Nobody seemed to know what they were doing. And the mines. Mines on the beach blowing up our men. And the mines in the water blowing up our ships. And all we've got our rifles against them with machine guns and cannons. Mines everywhere. Slaughter. That's what it was. They were waiting for us. And then they mowed us down. So we lost. We lost the war. Anyhow, well, when we got a few feet from the beach, there was a loud noise. So loud I could feel my eardrums burst. And a flash that blinded me. And this is crazy. Instead of landing on Omaha Beach, we landed on that beach, over there on that island. Here's the really crazy part. All of us, me and all my men, are all in one piece. How can that be? We were blown to smithereens. They blew us up with the landing craft, so we've got to be dead. Or something. Right? Thank you, ma'am. I really needed that.
Where are you from?
North Carolina.
What part?
A little tiny town in the mountains. Spruce Pine.
Where's Spy? We just played there 2 months ago at the county fair.
I was there then. Home on leave before shipping out.
It was earlier this year, 1933, when we were there.
I don't understand.
The Time Warp.
God dang almighty. I saw that show. I saw you dancing. Oh, I shivered all over. I was 11 years old and you changed my life forever. Every night after I said my prayers, I'd add one more thing. And please, God, please send me a beautiful lady like that for my own. I thought about you 50 times a day and dreamed about you every night. You were my first great love.
I bet you've got a real girlfriend now.
I had one. Betty Louise. We met at college. She's got an aunt who lives in a haunted house with 2 billy goats.
So pretty.
Boy, this sure is a long way from the pearly gates. Trouble is, nobody's going to believe me when I go back and tell the guys.
You have to go back?
Yes, they'll be worried about what happened to me. It was nice meeting y'all.
Young man, I think that you should know
I've got to get back to
you
my
should
man.
know that we didn't.
I've got to get back.
You have to know that we didn't lose the war.
There's another war.
Why? Why?
Why is not a serious question.
God, he was so sweet. Looking for the pearly gates, for God's sake.
Did we lose the war?
That's what it looked like to him. The landing was, as he said, a disaster at first, but we did in fact win the war. Finally. After 70 million people died. 70 million people. I won't go into all the atrocities, too horrible, but what my mind won't let me ignore is the fact that it's not just the leaders who cause wars. It's also people who go and kill each other simply because they were told to. Are they any less guilty? If everybody said, hell no, I won't go, everybody in every country. But that's impossible, of course. When those propaganda machines start
Will
working,
we have another life, do you think?
who
Or
knows?
is this it?
Who knows? One thing I've learned in this one is that nothing, and I mean nothing, is what they told us it was back then, or would be where we are now.
If we have another life, will I be able to afford you in that one?
In that one, I'll be under your Christmas tree.
I'll never unwrap you.
Why not?
To keep you safe. To keep you mine.
Well, so much for my fearsome dark hours.
Slow.
What?
Slow?
Slow.
What are you talking about?
Time.
What about time?
It's so slow.
Time?
Time is so old.
And slow.
And slow.
Lily, I see you in the skies, bright as a rainbow in my eyes. I left you once, but you never left me. Lily, I lost you to the skies. Lily, I'm haunted by your eyes. But Lily, I love you.
There are cracks up in the sky.
Sunshine yellow.
The hopeless and unknown.
Red mellow. You have so many.
Now I